I don't want you to feel like the weekly newsletter is supposed to move someone from one stage to another in the customer journey. That's actually what this segmented email is supposed to do. Do you ever feel stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure about what to do next to grow your business? You are not alone, and this is the podcast for you. Welcome to Boost Your Business by Business Heroes. This is where service-based entrepreneurs, whether you're delivering in person, online, or a mix of both, come to get the strategies, the insights, and actionable steps you need to level up your business with clarity, confidence, and impact. So let's dive in. Hi, and welcome to Boost Your Business Live. And I am your host, Sarah Watz. I'm broadcasting this from Sweden. So today we're tackling one of the most common struggles service providers has. It's how to send a newsletter every week without running out of ideas. So this session was actually inspired by some amazing questions I got after last week's live. This with consistency, with planning, with getting a really good feeling when you send out the emails is something that engages a lot of you. So I'm really happy to have those conversations. But one conversation that really came to us a lot was just, how do I actually plan the newsletter so I can send consistently without making it feel repetitive or salesy? I think that's exactly what we're going to focus on and break down today. So the topic for today is how to plan a weekly newsletter that builds trust and engagement. And I have prepared what we're going to cover today. The number one mistake most service providers makes with newsletter is one of them. And then we're going to talk about how a weekly newsletter is the secret weapon for building trust and engagement, and how to structure a newsletter so you will never run out of ideas, and the key difference between newsletters and segmented emails and why both matters. And we talked about the segmented emails in an episode before, so if you want to circle back to that one in the recording, please do so after this session. And we will, of course, talk about how to use the Business Heroes Grid to create a simple, repetitive newsletter strategy. And I want you to leave this session knowing exactly how to create a newsletter that builds trust for you and your business, that engages your audience and fits into your overall email marketing strategy. And I don't want it to just feel like another task. I want it to feel something that fires you up, that gives you that engagement, because it's communication, it's making it real, it's being human to be able to connect with other people. And even if it's not a phone call, even if it's not a meeting where we meet physically, an email can really be a way of connecting as well. So I want us to talk about that. Okay, so let's move on to the slide that I usually show you. And if you are watching the recording or listening to the podcast, inside of the show notes, you can find the link to go and grab your Business Heroes Grid, and you can follow along. So it's a really good, very versatile tool that we created, so you can use it when we are going through this training. Okay, so let's start with the first thing on our outline that we will cover today, and that's why most service providers struggle with newsletters. And let's be kind of real. Many service providers don't send a weekly newsletter, and that's because they feel stuck. And I think that maybe it could be that you are feeling some of the things that I put up on this list is, I have no idea what to send every week. And that's what keeps you stuck. Or, I don't want to annoy my audience with too many emails. Or maybe it's, I don't have time to write newsletter consistently. If that's you, I have good news, because your newsletter doesn't have to be hard, and it doesn't have to be time consuming, and it doesn't have to be about selling. It shouldn't be. It's actually about staying visible and adding value. To jump into the inbox and say, hi, I'm here. And I think that's really interesting to know, to see that can be the case. Because I think that sometimes when we are shy and not saying, hey, I'm here, I have something for value for you, we are missing out. So let's look at how we can stop struggle in this. I think that we have the next slide, which is really interesting about the thing that we talked about before with the segmented emails and the weekly emails. And what is the difference? Like, why should I do both? And I don't want you to feel like the weekly newsletter is supposed to move someone from one stage to another in the customer journey. That's actually what the segmented email is supposed to do. So the weekly newsletter is for ongoing visibility and relationship building, while the segmented emails is for moving them along the customer journey, making sure that they get the information they need to take the next step and the next step. And that includes offers, that includes sales, it includes converting, it includes a lot of things when it comes to the segment list, and even things like delivering emails. When you are delivering a service, you might want to be keeping in touch with them during delivery, and that's segmented emails. So if you think about the weekly emails as your trust building machine, it's keeping you top of mind and providing value and building engagement. Meanwhile, your segmented emails are designed to send the targeted messages just at the right time to the right person to move just that contact towards the next phase in the customer journey. I think that that will make it clearer what the difference is. So I think that I can also give you an example. Imagine if you had got a new puppy and you downloaded a checklist from a dog trainer on how to puppy-proof your home. Like, I have 2 puppies, and if they're sleeping behind me. So if they're snoring, that's happy. But I think that when we are a dog trainer could actually have that kind of checklist that I can download, and I can puppy-proof my home. And if you download that list, or if I download that list from that puppy trainer, and I got that follow-up email for a few tips and tricks and then silence, and then months later, you suddenly get an email saying, "Oh, are you struggling with a difficult dog? Please sign up for our dog training program at this special price." But that's when it feels kind of maybe icky. Maybe you feel like, but you don't even remember who that were. You might have downloaded tons of things before you got that puppy, and you don't even know if you can trust them. So even if you had a difficult puppy, why should you trust them? Because they haven't been in touch with you and tell you to build that expertise, to build that trust with you. And maybe you feel like they only reached out to you when they wanted something from you. And why are they thinking that you have a difficult dog? And that's exactly that feeling that happens when you ghost your email list. And I don't want that for you. So the fix, it's a weekly newsletter that keeps you connected. And your audience feels familiar with you, and they know you, they trust you. Your emails keep landing in the inboxes and not in spam. And that's a whole other story when it comes to delivery. But it's actually a trust. It's not just trust with the people that are getting the email and clicking and reading it. It's actually the email providers, the people that are applying the emails for like Gmail or Outlook or any other tool that they use for having the emails delivered to them. They also want to trust you. Is your email coming? Are they opening? Are they reading? Otherwise, they will come into the spam instead of the inbox. So it's actually a trust to them as well to show up in a good way and consistently enough. And when you have an offer, you can segment the list for people who actually care. So in the example of the dog trainer, if the company had a blog and sent out newsletters regularly to people that used to download the freebie, the checklist, and the guide, the people who clicked on the blog post that has to do with like difficult dogs, tips and tricks could be segmented by the tagging the link in the email and making sure that they could be sorted out. And when that class came out with a difficult dog training, only the people that clicked on those kind of topics could receive that offer if they were smart and using the segmented emails. So that's something that I think is really important, because The newsletter shouldn't be the big sales vehicle for you. It should be the segmented emails. And using an email to sell all the time is like a big no-no. It's not the purpose. I wanted to really be, you would like say, newsletter is equal to nurturing engagement and building trust. And a strategy that works really well with the tagging, it's if someone clicks on the link, and it could be not just to the blogs or anything else. It could also be when you link to a service or something that is related to service you offer. You know who clicked, who are interested, so you can follow up with them in segmented emails and convert them that way. Or if you want to, you can use the newsletter with like a soft touch approach when it comes to like 90% of the newsletter to be valuable content, and use the PS section. And in the PS section, you can then provide something like 3 ways to work with me, or what I can help you with, and then have short descriptions and links to learn more. And the best practice is that when you have promotional emails, send them outside of your regular newsletter time so your audience doesn't feel overwhelmed. Because I think that when we get it like the weekly newsletter, let's say it's like Tuesdays at 2 o'clock, and then maybe Tuesday at 3 o'clock, I get a, hey, come and buy something. I think that that is not that good. So please make sure that you have some space in between them. And if you think about it, your lead magnet that we also talked about in a previous session, so you can circle back to that recording, your lead magnet got their attention. That's when you open up the doors and say, hey, I'm looking for someone who's interested in what I do, and the lead magnet got their attention. And your weekly newsletter is the vehicle that keeps that attention. So your segmented emails should turn interest into sales without being pushy. And also, we talked about the customer journey being different timing for everyone. Sometimes you have a service that is really crucial to have help immediately. Some have years before they make a decision. But the thing is that trust is built over time. And if you only email people when you need something from them, you're just using a megaphone that no one is listening to. So, and it's not even sure that you're coming into the inbox. Because remember, the email providers that are helping us and servicing us from getting all the spam out that is not relevant for us, your email will probably not come into the inbox if you haven't sent for a while. It will be probably sent to the spam. So I think that's something to think about, really, that these are 2 different vehicles for 2 different strategies. Okay, let's move on. One other thing I want to mention in this training is that it's important to think about why the weekly newsletter should always go out at the same day and the same time. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I can see when I'm sending newsletter randomly with our members. Because if you don't have a set time and a specific day, your audience doesn't expect them. And it's easy for them and for you to forget them. So instead, I want you to circle in a day of the week and a time and commit to that. Because your audience should look forward to it, just like they're looking forward to their favorite podcast release or their favorite TV show, new episode releasing. I think that's the thing. Because if you think about it, like if you go back to the TV show, if your favorite TV show don't have a set air date, some weeks it's a Monday, and sometimes they will release it on Friday, and sometimes it disappears for months. Well, that would never happen, right? But if that would be the case, would you still be engaged and look for that information? Would you even remember to watch it if that happened? Well, your newsletter is kind of working the same way. So when you send it consistently, your audience expects it and they look forward to it. And they are more likely to engage with it. When I say engage, it's not just reading it or clicking on your links. It is also replying to it or forwarding it to someone else. And the consistency is not just about the discipline. It's about the habit for your audience, so they naturally engage in your emails. And guess what? When they get the promotion emails that you send out, they will also engage in that more often than if you are not sending them regular valuable emails. So I think that's something that I wanted to be really clear on, that this is important. Okay, so I promised you to give you 3 proven formats for the weekly newsletters. So if you're struggling with what to send each week, don't overcomplicate it, because like in Business Heroes Academy, we have a section with a list of formats and content ideas on how to come up with different content structures for different weekly newsletters. And the important thing is to do the weekly check-in with someone saying, hey, I have some insights, or I have some food of thought for you. And the good thing is to keep that consistent, like conversational. That's what I was saying, the conversational thing, because you're writing to one person. And even if you just have one person signing up for your list, you will write to that one person. Next week, maybe you have 5. Maybe next week you have 15, and you're collecting them. But you want them to stay, and they want to look forward to this. So you have to mix it up for a while, because if your emails look the same way all the time, and it contains exactly the same thing all the time, people get like tired of it. So it's important for you to mix it up. So sometimes you have a short paragraph with no links, and sometimes it's a curated email with links to external sources, and sometimes it's a story you want to share. And I picked out 3 formats from our library that will make it easier for you to plan. So let's look at those 3. So the first one is repurposing your own content. So let's say that you are weekly podcasting, where you are weekly showing up on video and publishing it on YouTube or somewhere else. Maybe you're writing a blog every week, or you are very active on social media. So then you can actually take your weekly original content and use that information, and you can actually use AI to say, hey, can you please make a quick intro to this latest content that I created, and provide me with a link to read the full content. And then it's kind of easy, because you have already put everything in your effort to share something really valuable in that weekly content. Or say that you are very active on social media, and you are maybe posting maybe once a day, or maybe on different channels multiple times a day. And you can pick 3 of the most engaging social media posts, and you can just have a little bit of context around them. You say something about the takeaways from the engagement and the comments, and you will have links to those 3 social media posts. That will create more engagement on those posts and even more following to your social media. And not everyone sees your post, and not everybody read all the comments, and especially not the ones that you want to highlight. So don't be afraid of actually repurposing the content you already created. So that's repurposing of your own content. And sometimes when I talk about this, a lot of people say, well, maybe I don't actually blog every week, but I've been blogging for maybe a year or 2, so I have blogs. So then usually I say, well, you can absolutely link to older blogs, because they are probably not something else than evergreen blog. That means it's current and it's really good. Then you can send an email, say, hey, I curated some links to a few blog posts that were really on this subject. And here is maybe one outline, maybe here's one detail, here's maybe an interview with a customer about this topic. And you curated this links inside of that email. So you don't have to do new content every week in your emails. It could also be putting them together in a different way. And it could also be that you have been on an interview on a podcast. Maybe you have been on a TV show, or you may have been interviewed a blog post somewhere else, and you want to send them there and say, hey, this is where I did this and I shared this, and do you know what, a little bit behind the scenes about this. So you give something extra that they can't find there somewhere else. So I think that's the repurpose of your own content. Another format that is really popular to use is questions that come in from clients, DMs, or conversations and answering them. So if you get a common question, talk about why you chose to share it and your response to it. Or even you can like send maybe the questions to a few clients of yours or an expert that you know to give their response to that question and format it into like a written interview inside of the email. So you can really think about how can questions spark the idea of, I haven't done anything about this. I can do something about this. And then you can use that information that you have in your newsletter, maybe to the FAQ section. Maybe you can use it in your blog if you haven't had a blog post around that before. So you can really cross-publish, but think about it, it's not supposed to be exactly the same thing inside of the email and on the blog, but it could be very similar and spark you some interests. Okay, so let's go to the last of the 3 proven formats, and that's exclusive insights. And I know a few people that have lists that are very contained, that this content isn't published anywhere else. And you have to be on the list to get it. So it could be like behind the scenes lesson, it could be personal stories, it can be industry trends that you haven't shared on social media, you haven't shared on the blog or anywhere else. This is something that you keep as really good gems that you only share to the people that are on the list. And the takeaway is that when you get insights from your email provider to see what kind of format and content your audience prefers, you can see it measured by views, clicks, or replies. And when you have that kind of feedback, you know that, okay, so I should do more, maybe one of the behind the scenes every month. Maybe I should do the Q&A once a month, or maybe I will have the curated information where I share my original content and repurposing it maybe twice a week, twice a month. So then I have 4 posts, and they can all be related to whatever thing that's going on right now in the trends, or it could be when like you want to push one of your service a little bit more. They can all relate to that service in one kind of way, and you can have links inside of these emails that if people clicking on it, they can segment themselves and say, hey, I'm interested, I want to know more. So think about how you can really engage with your subscribers in this way. And these are only 3 formats. You can probably think about a lot of more when you start thinking this way. A lot of people think about pillars and subjects and topics, and you have to really think about how to use them. And I'm absolutely for that too. I think that's more the content inside of it. But this is about getting you unstuck. I want to make it super easy for you to start being consistent when sending out the newsletters. And these are the 3 that usually gets you going the fastest to actually make it happen. So I hope this is really valuable for you. And I also think that when you start seeing what they like, you know that maybe they just want to have a paragraph with the latest trend report, and you will say why this is really important, and then you will send them off to the trend. Maybe sometimes when you have an interview with 5 questions, it's longer. So it's totally okay that they look different. Some of them have logos in them, some have not, some are plain text, some are not. And I think the mixing up of it makes it really interesting. So I think that we should keep on doing that. Okay, so let's look at the grid. And if you have it in front of you, you know that on the top of the grid, you have your customer's journey. Your customers have their own journey that they are in. We cannot design it, but we should be really clear on leaning in and asking questions about anything that goes on in their world, what kind of goals they have during their journey, and what the actions they take, and be super sensitive of actually making small shifts in how we support them to make this really valuable for them to have us guide them through that journey. And when we look at newsletter and the segmented emails, how they fit together, it's important for you to see that the segmented emails will be in different boxes when it comes to external activities when we are supporting their journey. And sometimes when we have questions that we can see that a lot of people have, that is not towards like just a phase that people are in, but more common things. It could be a mindset thing where they need confidence in making a shift. Those things could be really valuable to put in newsletters instead of the segmented emails. So you can really look at the customer journey and see if there is anything that is really common, no matter where they are in their journey, that can fit into your newsletters. And you can identify activities that attract and educate stages that you can repurpose. So if you are, like I said, blogging, or if you are doing videos or podcasting as a way of getting attractions and educating your clients, you can repurpose them in the newsletters. And you can also spot opportunities to deliver the wow and multiple stages where we can provide valuable content. And that could be case studies. That could be something that insightful information that is good for anyone, no matter if they're a client of yours or not, if they are in any phase or not. So look at it from a higher perspective, what you can share with the audience. And to avoid sending too many or too few emails, you can look at matching the newsletter sending schedule with your segmented list. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at it how we do at Business Heroes, we have a weekly content that goes out like a newsletter twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. And our promotional emails and segmented emails, they go out on Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. And then we have program member emails that goes out on Fridays, 3 o'clock. So really mapping them out, seeing that they are not colliding each other, is actually boosting them together. It's really, really good. And when you use the Business Heroes Grid, you will ensure that you are consistent, that you get clarity and engagement with your list. So I think that's a key point of using the grid for so many different things. It's very flexible. And in this case, it's for newsletters. So if you have any questions whatsoever about this, put them into the comments or send me a DM, and I will be happy to guide you even further. And if you thought this creating newsletter that converts will really be helpful for you to get into working on your business, not inside of your business this time, to plan out the 12 months of your newsletters, you are so welcome to join us at our next workshop. And the next workshop is on March 26th. March 26th. And we are planning out the 12 months of content that engages, and also how we can start segmenting people so they can sell. And also the tool that we use is AI. So we will work closely with AI to create that plan for you so you can get unstuck and get into being consistent during the next 12 months. So it's 3 hours. It's getting into working, and it's not just me talking. It's getting to work, having a conversation, getting to work, having a conversation, getting to work, and really get deep into the newsletter strategy. So you are so welcome to join us, and you go into businessheroes.io and click on training, and you will get to this workshop. And as always, if you think that the Business Heroes Grid is something you want to deep dive into, you can absolutely do so. And you have a special code since you are watching the live, or you are listening to the podcast or watching the recordings on YouTube. And you can use a coupon code GRID27, and you will get it for $27 instead of $197 that it's on the website. So really good deal for you. And if you know that even if you know everything about the grid and you know that you have all the gaps identified and you want to start working with it, and you know that you're not going to be accountable by yourself, jump into the waitlist of the Business Heroes Academy. That's when we have accountability calls every week. We have mastermind, we have Q&As, we are getting deep into getting into action. And this is really something that I think could be very beneficial if you feel like you are not good at keeping yourself accountable. Okay, so we are at the Q&A stage, and I really want to talk about the importance of actually getting the information into the comments, what you are stuck in and what you want to be clarified in, or if you have any ideas on new topics you want us to talk about these lives. And I sent out an email to our list on Monday to say that this is the live that we're doing. And I asked to get some questions from my email list so I can get them into this question time. So here are some of the questions my email list sent. One was, how long should my newsletter be? And I think that I explained that before in this live, that it should be very flexible for you, whatever content is going inside of your weekly newsletter. It should not be too long, so it's windy, and it should not be too short, so it's not valuable. But it also depends on what kind of content you are adding into your newsletter. So don't be afraid of experimenting. Another question I got was, can I include a call to action into my newsletter? And yes, of course you can. It's just that it's not supposed to be a sales newsletter. It's supposed to be valuable. So you can use the segmentation, as I said before, click on something to identify interest in a topic so you can start sending them like segmented emails. Or you can use the PS in the end of the email to say, here's how you can find out more. And then if I had a question also, what if I don't have time to write emails every week? So if that's the case for you, sometimes it's hard to get into the regular routine to do. So maybe you will do it once a month and you will do 5 of them at the same day. That's your newsletter working day. You're figuring out what kind of topics will be good. You will write them out and you put them into the email providers that you have and scheduling them so they go out at the same time and the same date in the future. And why is that good? Well, if you're working on the same kind of task, your brain is actually working more efficient. And when you feel like you can print them out or you can put them on the screen one by one, you can actually get a feeling and a sense of what the subscriber is feeling when they get the first one and the second one and the third one. And remember the thing we talked about, the series on like a TV series that we are looking for. We're looking for the next episode. So maybe there is a hook somewhere that concludes to the next one. So maybe it's a hook again, so you want to know what's the next one. And that's why you come back to the next episode and why you're looking for it. And that's when you're batching it, you can do that. You can figure out how to use the hooks so they are looking forward and really looking into how where is your next email. And that's something that I will really encourage. So even if you have time right every week, if it's not crucial that it's really relevant and this is like the week's trends on TikTok or something, then that might be hard to batch. But if you are doing something else, maybe you can batch a lot of your content that way. So I think that that was the questions I got from my subscribers at the newsletter. So if you are not subscribing to our newsletter, go to our website, sign up, and you can also send in questions. But if you listen to this, go into the comment section and ask questions, and I will circle back to them. Okay, so it's time to level up again, right? Your newsletter, your weekly newsletters is your superpower. Your weekly newsletter, remember, it's not about selling, it's about trust. It's about visibility, and it's about consistency. So deliver on your promise. If you're saying that I'm going to send you a weekly email with this kind of information, then you have to deliver on it, even if it's free. because you want your audience to stay engaged, and you want to be the one who is providing them with information so they feel like if they are going to buy a service like yours, you are the one they're waiting for to work with. You are the one they want to go on the waiting list for. You are the one they're going to connect with and say, hey, is there any opportunity for me to work with you? So be really intentional when it comes to your newsletters. So if you're ready to build newsletters your audience looks forward to, when is the right time? It's right now, right? So circle into your calendar when you're going to start, what kind of formats you're going to start with, and start building it. So if you haven't downloaded the Business Heroes Grid, go and do it and start leveling up your weekly newsletters. See you next time.